Imagine for a moment that everything you think you know about how the world works is a carefully crafted illusion. What if the decisions made by world leaders, the laws passed in government, and the headlines you read every day are actually being shaped by forces you don't see and powers you don't fully understand? Today, we're diving into a topic that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but is based on real facts: the shadow government. Who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes? Let's explore the hidden world of power, influence, and control. Then, the revolving door between government and corporations. One of the most significant ways that the so-called shadow government operates is through the revolving door between politics and big business. This term refers to the movement of high-level officials back and forth between government positions and the private sector. Some of the biggest corporations in the world have lobbyists, former officials, and advisors who once worked in the government, making it easier to push for policies that benefit them. Take the example of former Vice President Dick Cheney. Before becoming Vice President, Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton, one of the largest defense contractors in the world. When he was in office, Halliburton's business flourished, especially in the years following the Iraq War. This revolving door raises serious questions about whether public policies are being shaped by the interests of corporations rather than the people they are supposed to serve. 9. Operation Mockingbird and media manipulation. Another key element of the shadow governments influence is its control over the media. During the Cold War, the CIA initiated an operation called Mockingbird, which involved recruiting journalists to spread propaganda favorable to US interests. This covert operation allowed the CIA to shape public perception by ensuring that the media narrative aligned with government policies. Fast forward to today, and we still see evidence of media manipulation. Major news outlets often act as mouthpieces for the interests of large corporations, and we know that billionaires and corporate elites have influence over what gets reported. Take, for instance, the consolidation of media ownership. Just a handful of corporations own the majority of mainstream media outlets, meaning a lot of the news we consume comes from the same sources. This control can have a huge impact on the narratives that shape public opinion, whether on domestic issues or global crises. 8. The Federal Reserve's hidden power. The Federal Reserve, often referred to as the Fed, is one of the most powerful institutions in the world, but its inner workings are shrouded in mystery. Created in 1913, the Fed is responsible for managing the US money supply and setting interest rates. While it operates independently from the government, it has massive influence over the economy. What's particularly concerning is that the Fed is not directly accountable to the public. Its leadership is made up of individuals who are often connected to major banking institutions and financial firms. Many critics argue that the Fed operates in the interest of Wall Street rather than Main Street, and its decisions can have a profound impact on working-class Americans. The 2008 financial crisis, for example, saw the Fed bailing out major banks while ordinary people were left to suffer the consequences. The mystery surrounding the Fed's real power and influence is a key component of the shadow government. 7. The military-industrial complex. One of the most important figures in the history of American politics, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, warned about the dangers of the military-industrial complex. This term refers to the cozy relationship between the military, defense contractors, and lawmakers that drives US military spending. The military-industrial complex benefits from constant war, and that's why it's so powerful. Companies that manufacture weapons, aircraft, and military technology profit from conflicts around the world, while politicians, many of whom have ties to defense companies, continue to push for military interventions. For example, companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing have historically lobbied for policies that increase defense spending, regardless of whether or not those policies are in the best interests of the public. It's a dangerous cycle that keeps the war machine running while benefiting those in power. 6. Secret global meetings. Bilderberg, Davos, Trilateral Commission. A common theme among conspiracy theories is the idea of powerful elites meeting in secret to shape world events. Groups like the Bilderberg Group, the World Economic Forum in Davos, and the Trilateral Commission are often mentioned in this context. These organizations bring together the most powerful business leaders, politicians, and thinkers from around the globe to discuss major issues facing the world. While these meetings are framed as opportunities for collaboration, they are also seen by many as venues where the powerful few make decisions that affect billions of people. all behind closed doors. The secrecy surrounding these gatherings only fuels suspicion about what's really being discussed. In many cases, decisions made by these elites have little regard for the needs of ordinary people. 5. NSA mass surveillance exposed by Edward Snowden in 2013. Former National Security Agency, NSA, contractor Edward Snowden blew the whistle on a massive global surveillance program that was being run by the US government. Snowden revealed that the NSA was spying on millions of ordinary citizens, collecting data on phone calls, emails, and online activity without a warrant or oversight. The revelations sparked global outrage, with many questioning the level of surveillance and control the government had over people's private lives. What's even more disturbing is that the surveillance program wasn't just limited to American citizens. It also targeted foreign leaders, including allies. This was just one example of how the shadow government can use secretive, high-tech means to monitor, control, and manipulate populations. 4. The mystery of Bohemian Grove. For decades, rumors have swirled around a private club in Northern California called Bohemian Grove. The retreat, which is held every year, is attended by some of the most powerful men in the world, including former US presidents, business tycoons, and high-ranking government officials. The club's secrecy has led to wild speculation about what goes on behind its gates. In 2000, a journalist managed to infiltrate the Bohemian Grove and capture footage of strange rituals and activities that are shrouded in mystery, while the specifics of what happens at Bohemian Grove remain unknown. The fact that powerful people gather there in secret raises questions about the connections between elite groups and their influence over global events. 3. Real plans for false flag operations. Operation Northwoods. A false flag operation is a covert operation designed to deceive people into thinking that an event was carried out by a different party. These operations are used to justify political actions, such as war or curtailing civil liberties. One of the most well-known cases of a planned false flag operation is Operation Northwoods, a proposal from the US Department of Defense in the early 1960s. The plan called for the US government to stage terrorist attacks and blame them on Cuba as a pretext for launching a war. The operation was rejected by President Kennedy, but it highlights the willingness of powerful factions within the government to manipulate public perception and justify military action. False flag operations continue to be a topic of concern for many who fear that the shadow government may use similar tactics today to advance their own agenda. 2. Corporate influence over democracy. Citizens United and ALEC. The relationship between corporations and government has become increasingly entwined in recent years, particularly through legal mechanisms like the Citizens United decision and the American Legislative Exchange Council, ALEC. In 2010, the US Supreme Court ruled in Citizens United versus FAC that corporations could spend unlimited amounts of money on political campaigns, effectively allowing them to buy influence in Washington. At the same time, ALEC, a group that includes powerful corporations, works to draft model legislation for state governments, pushing policies that benefit big business. The rise of corporate influence over the democratic process is one of the most alarming aspects of the shadow government, as it undermines the will of the people and prioritizes corporate profits over public good. 1. Silencing whistleblowers. Snowden, Manning, Assange. Whistleblowers play a critical role in exposing the corruption and hidden workings of powerful institutions, including governments and corporations. However, those who speak out are often subjected to harsh retaliation. Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, and Julian Assange are three of the most well-known whistleblowers in recent history, and all have been subjected to legal battles and persecution. Their stories reveal the lengths to which governments and powerful entities will go to suppress information that threatens their interests. The silencing of whistleblowers is a key part of the shadow government's ability to operate in secrecy and maintain control over the global narrative. In conclusion, while the idea of a shadow government may seem far-fetched to some, the stories and facts presented here show that powerful forces are indeed pulling the strings behind the scenes. Whether it's through the revolving door between business and politics, secretive meetings, or media manipulation, the shadow government has a far-reaching influence on the way the world works. But the more we learn about these hidden powers, the more we can expose them and push for a more transparent and accountable world. If you found this information eye-opening, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the topics that matter. Thanks for watching.